Hi and welcome to the back page, the Ashgrove Spinal Centre's weekly newsletter. You're watching this via YouTube, so please remember to click like because that helps other people find this post. Click subscribe because that helps you to find this post, remembering to click the notification bell. But most importantly, keep those excellent questions and comments coming in the comments section because that allows us to guide the content towards content that you want to hear. Thank you. Hi, and welcome to the back page on the 3rd of April 2023. Today we'll be talking about Easter pitfalls, getting through the posture associated with travel, having friends around, and the general shenanigans we get up to over the Easter break. We'll be touching briefly on the signs and symptoms of a disc problem, one of the most common conditions that we see here at TASC, and also a reminder that we previously talked about scoliosis. I want to keep these videos brief. That's been our feedback from you. As opposed to the 15-minute marathons, which I recorded last week, we're going to be trying to taper it back to about 5 minutes. So what I wanted to remind you was to check the last video if you need more information, but otherwise, the scoliosis screening, it's a really good time to do it before the kids start to rug up and we move into winter mode. So moving on to the feature story today, which is getting through the Easter break and avoiding the common pitfalls. Many of you will be traveling, and we've talked about that in a previous video. We have a car posture form, which we have on the website. If you can't find it on the website, or you're just not tech savvy, just contact us either by email or give us a quick call and we can email that out to you. In fact, I'll attach a link to that to the newsletter when I send it out. In addition to that, you can also think about your posture at night when you sleep. If you're traveling via car or plane and you have check-in luggage, it can be a good idea to take your pillow. I'll put a link in the video to the pillows I recommend. I recommend the Denton's low profile contour pillow. They're always on special somewhere, which is why I don't tend to refer people to a specific site, because at any given time, someone's got them on sale somewhere. That's one of the joys of online shopping. In terms of traveling, if you're traveling, and car is what I really wanted to focus on, the number one thing that we need to mention is driver fatigue, because it literally produces the most catastrophic outcomes associated with Easter travel. So all the usual things: avoid fatigue, rest regularly. If you feel tired, stop. There are driver reviver stations everywhere. If you're feeling tired, make sure you have whoever you're traveling with awake and alert at the time so that they can look and monitor you for the signs of driver fatigue. And similarly, if you're a passenger in a car, make sure you're monitoring the driver for signs of driver fatigue. It could be the most crucial decision you make of your life. When you are traveling, the biggest issue that we have is the static posture. You're locked into the driver's seat for prolonged periods of time. Posturally, you can set that up as best as you can. The posture form will help. In a perfect world, we would have breaks every 20 to 30 minutes, but obviously that's just not possible when you're traveling. You'd drive yourself mad if you had to stop every 20 or 30 minutes. And I know personally, once I get the car up and we're moving and the cruise control's locked, I'm not very enthusiastic about stopping. I won't lie about that. You just cross your legs. We'll stop when we get to needing another tank of petrol or a big service station for lunch or breakfast or whatever it might be. So you are likely to be in the car for long periods of time. So therefore you need to have little tricks that you can do. Obviously you can't just get up and jump around when you're driving the car. You need to be very mindful about positioning your body. What you can do though is deal with the effects of neck stiffness, which you will get posturally even with the best ergonomic setup in your vehicle. I recommend the static stretch. I recommend this stretch for all my neck stretches over the more dynamic stretch. You know, these ear to shoulder stretches, or even that one that was classic in the 80s, way back when leg warmers and fingerless woolen gloves were a thing. This whole roll your head around, just don't do it. Unless you're a 17-year-old mixed martial artist going into a cage fight, it's probably unlikely to end well. So what my suggestion would be to do the isometric stretches. We've covered them before, but they're where you put your hand up, you push your head into your hand, no shenanigans, no mixing it, no trying to get a bit of rotation, a bit of this. Definitely don't go, you know, if I do this a bit more, I reckon I might be able to crack my neck. You don't want to do that. Straight, sideways, 5 to 8 seconds, relax, do the other side. You can actually realistically do this when you're in the car. When you're driving the car on a straight piece of road, you can just do a gentle this, and what you will probably find is it will relieve some of that neck tension that you have. And that can be the difference between you know, a more comfortable drive, arriving feeling a whole lot better, and arriving not feeling so good. If you combine that with a good ergonomic setup in the car, you take a travel pillow with you, you can end up having a much happier Easter, because we do see a lot of people over the Easter break, because they're sleeping on a strange bed, strange pillow, prolonged car trips. Plane trips can be an issue as well, although there is at least the capacity to sit differently or get up and move around the cabin, which makes a massive difference. In a perfect world, we would break a static posture every 20 to 30 minutes. That's sort of the golden number, that 20 to 30 minutes. Just call it half an hour if that makes it easier for you. Moving on, and what we'll be covering a lot in the next month, the indications of a disc bulge. It's really a pet area of mine. We have traction, which we do particularly well, so we really do zero in on that. There is a graphic that we've attached with this video. It will be flashing up in a moment. There are 3 really main things to look out for with a disc injury. Now, remembering a disc injury is the most common source of lower back pain. Depending on which paper you read, you're talking about 40 to about 60% of all back pain comes from a lumbar disc. So it's a big source of lumbar discs, and most people will experience low back pain at some point in their lives. In many instances, this will resolve itself within a couple of weeks. And so you can seek care if you'd like. For many of the patients who are under maintenance care, so they come in once a month, that tends not to happen, or we address it as we see them. But if you do have that kind of low back pain, it persists for more than a fortnight, I would encourage you to take the next step and get it looked at to identify whether there's something more serious going on that could be a problem in the future. But the 3 targeted indicators that I wanted to zero in on are seen in this flyer. First of all is back pain, leg pain, and pain in certain positions. The back pain, with a disc, you're typically talking about dull pain. It will probably feel as though it's easy to localize, but in reality, it's actually quite difficult to localize. People often say, oh yeah, it's right there. Yeah, right there. And they indicate a big range. So it feels, your brain says, yeah, it's right there, but in reality, it's actually quite hard to localize. I can talk about that more in other videos. Leg pain, the disc can bulge, can get inflamed, and can then cause interactions and pressure on the adjacent nerves as they exit the spine and typically go down the legs. This can also happen in the neck, but we're talking about lumbar disc today. So leg pain, commonly pain below the knee. If you have leg pain originating from the back and radiating down into your below the knee, then that's another one of those triggers to definitely come in, and let's have a look at that and see what's happening. You can get pain from all sorts of lumbar sources, referring to the buttock, or maybe even into the back of your leg. But if it goes below the knee, that's something a little bit different, which is worthy of further investigation. And the last one is pain on certain positions. So this is most commonly bending and twisting. It could be after you're getting up from sitting, being in a seated position for some time, and that's where it will often catch, and you might get a sharp pain, often in the back, sometimes radiating down the leg. So these are three things to look out for. They're very general tips and hints. I'll leave it there. We can cover that more in other videos in the future. Have a great Easter. Be safe. Remember all of those tips, especially the drive fatigue. Be gentle with each other, and I will talk to you soon.